Hello, everyone. Thanks for your time. I'm Ryan Pennant from KeyWare, and today we'll be discussing our telephony solution, intelli-CTi, which connects your user's phone to Microsoft Dynamics 365 for customer engagement. Now, I'm going to be taking you guys through a live demonstration of the solution, and afterwards we'll have a little bit of time to answer any questions you guys may have. So please feel free to use the questions area here and go to webinar to submit your questions. Now, the presentation should just be under 30 minutes, so we'll get you back to your day here pretty quickly. And without further ado, let's get started. So a little bit of background on KeyWare. So we've got over 25 years of experience as a CRM partner, both implementing and supporting different CRM platforms. And we've been working specifically with Microsoft Dynamics CRM for just over 13 years. And we are developers of complementary CRM products that are sold worldwide, obviously intelli-CTi being one of them. But we also have a duplicate data cleansing and prevention solution for Dynamics called Paribus 365. Now, being a Microsoft partner, we really understand the needs of CRM users since we deal with them in our own practice on a daily basis. And so we bring this experience to our products, allowing us to address many of the issues that CRM users experience within their system. But enough about us. Let's discuss why intelli-CTi is so important to your CRM system. Now, as you may know, there's a significant importance on providing a greater customer experience these days. And we at KeyWare are passionate about delivering a better experience for all Dynamics 365 CE users. Now, intelli-CTi is designed to enhance both the user and customer experience, as well as, of course, increase user efficiency and adoption. Now, I want to briefly talk about customer expectations. As we all know, customers are continuing to set the bar higher and higher in terms of what they expect from technologies they interact with, right? Now, they demand a seamless and highly relevant experience at every interaction, which is really driving a shift in the way that organizations must adapt and operate. Now, customers today expect fast access to information, as well as people like service and sales reps. They also expect technologies to work together seamlessly. And I think it's can't be overstated, a very high level of security. And more customers expect more automation in the solutions that they use as well. But perhaps most important is customers want to be treated like a person, not a number. And I think we can all relate to that, right? And this is why providing a personal experience is so important. Now let's discuss some of the challenges we see today regarding phone interactions between users and customers as it relates to a CRM system. So we often see poor phone call efficiency. So no workflows, too many clicks, and it's really hard to efficiently capture data during or after the call. And users can't find the caller's records fast enough either, or in some cases at all, which can really lower overall user efficiency. And we see low call volume rates often as well. So this really is an issue to, system inefficiencies basically as well. Also, there's a lack of sufficient data captured by users, which leads, of course, to poor customer service on future calls because the relevant history is not being captured. And finally, poor integration between the phone system and Dynamics leads to both frustrated users and customers. And it's really not the user's fault. They just simply don't have the tools in place to deal with the customer's needs. And this is where intelli-CTi truly shines. Now, intelli-CTi is designed to improve productivity and streamline the user's phone interactions while ultimately providing a better customer experience. And here's some of those examples. So first, inbound call handling. Now, this allows for identification of the caller before the user answers, automatically opening the caller's record in CRM and associating the call to the appropriate CRM record. So all previous activity with the customer is available as soon as the call begins. And outbound dialing is simplified with intelli-CTi's simple click to dial feature. So there's no more dialing a 9 for your dial tone or having to dial a 1 or a 0, no more misdialing, just simply click and dial. And intelli-CTi improves the call flow management, really encouraging best practices for optimum productivity and efficiency. And with its simple post-call processing, intelli-CTi allows for easy association and scheduling follow-up tasks, along with capturing any call notes, which is really a few clicks. And from a data and analytics standpoint, intelli-CTi captures all of the relevant data about the call against whether it be the account, contact, lead, opportunities, cases, and really allowing usage of this data in reports, dashboards, or even your favorite BI tool. And finally, it's customizable, which we'll discuss in greater detail as we go further in the presentation. So really enough about slides now. I really want to take you through a tour of intelli-CTi. And during this demonstration, I'm going to take you through some inbound calls. We'll do some single match calls where just one person is calling in there, the only person with that number. We'll also talk about inbound calls where more than one person shares the same phone number. We'll also talk about unknown numbers and how we might deal with those, missed calls. We'll also switch over to outbound calls and show you the various ways that it makes the user more efficient. And then finally, we'll discuss all the possible data that is captured and how that can be used, okay? All right, so let's jump into the live portion of the demo then, shall we? I'm here on my desktop, and you may see here on the right-hand side of my screen, I've got this little blue bar running from top to bottom, which I can expand here with this little icon. This is the intelli-CTi client-side app. This will be installed for any user who is in fact using intelli-CTi. Typically, it would be configured to start up with Windows. That way, the minute calls come in, whether I've logged into CRM or not, I can see immediately who's calling me, okay? And we can, I'm just going to go ahead and hide this here on the side, but it would always be connected to both CRM as well as your phone system. All right, now the other star of the show here, of course, is CRM. So I'm going to bring that up here for you, and we'll get started. So like I said, I'm going to begin with an inbound call from the person who is in CRM, and they're the only person with that number. And then we'll gradually open things up, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and have a call come in here. I can see now intelli-CTi has popped open, okay, showing that, hey, I've got an inbound call from a Mike Wazowski from Pixar Corp, okay? So the beauty is here, again, providing great customer service, I know who's calling. So when I pick up this phone here, which I can click on this answer button here, I can do it very personally. Good morning, Mr. Wazowski. How can I help you today? So not only can I provide that level of service, but you notice that it automatically opens up Mike's record here in CRM. So I've got all of his relevant information, all of his history at my fingertips. I can see here in the timeline who he's last spoken to, what that was about, and so forth. So again, providing excellent customer service from Mr. Wazowski. And plus, and he's got a bit of a challenging name. I didn't have to search in CRM, feverishly trying to find out, where his record is and all that stuff, ask him how to spell his name again, which I might have to do. It's just simply, I know who it was, answer the phone very personably, and everything at my fingertips, okay? Makes it much better experience for myself as well as for the customer. Now, in here in the panel here, you can see that we have some additional remote call control features. So yes, I can answer the phone, I could place it on hold or unhold it. You notice we have this little notepad that automatically opens up here. So the great thing about this is while I'm on the call, if I want to take some notes during the call, I can just simply place them in here. So let's say Mike is interested in some additional users. I can put those notes in here. Well, notice down below in the call assistant area that the call is automatically associated to not only Mike, but to his account, Pixar. And the great thing about this is we are automatically creating a phone call activity record against both records. So as a user, I don't have to remember to do this. My boss doesn't have to keep reminding me, hey, Ryan, did you add that activity? It's done here automatically for me. Again, making my life as a user much more efficient. And of course, capturing that data, most importantly, against Mike's record automatically. All right, so when I'm done with the call, I can simply hang up. Now I can hang up my handset back in my receiver on my physical phone here on my desk, or if I have a Bluetooth headset, I can turn that off, or I can simply hang up here on screen, which I'll do. And at the end of the call, we get an end of call wrap-up screen. And the wrap-up screen just shows me, hey, I had an inbound call, it was established versus missed. The date, the time, the duration of the call, all these metrics are now captured in CRM for us for reporting purposes, right? I can see who I spoke to, obviously it was Mike at Pixar, and those notes I took over there in the intelli-CTi app here are automatically put in here as well, which obviously I can amend as necessary. Down at the lower portion of the screen, you can see I've got call disposition, and so here I can have some pre-made text basically, and these are user defined, so whatever works for your organization, you guys would configure that in your global option sets. Here, maybe I can say that I have a meeting scheduled with Mike to further discuss this here on Friday. And now, if you think about it, this call is over, right? So we have created a completed or closed phone call activity in Dynamics. Now, if I want to follow up on Friday, I want to create a new phone call activity. And you notice I have this create follow-up button here. So if I click on this, it will now, in the background, as you see, create a new follow-up activity with all the pertinent information already completed. Now I'm done with the wrap-up, so I can go ahead and say, okay, that phone call is done. It's going to be a completed activity now. But here in the background, you can see now all the information is already set up for my meeting on Friday. Even has the notes of what perhaps we want to discuss. So I might want to say, call Mike on Friday. And now when I see this in my activities come Friday, I'll know exactly what I need to do. I need to call Mike regarding 25 users. And of course, the only other thing I have to do is just CRM, just put in a date and time that I want to follow up on, in this case on Friday, and just say save. Now, if I go back to Mike's record, I will see the original call that just came in, which is completed, and of course the follow-up. So you can see here, here's the follow-up, which of course is active, and here's the closed phone call activity, along with all the other information in history on his account. So that's how easy it is. I didn't have to think about it, right? It's in here now, okay? Just a much more cleaner, efficient use of Dynamics. So that's an inbound call from a person who is in the system and they're the only person that has that number. But what happens if, in the cases, some companies don't have what's called direct inward dial numbers, where basically they share the same phone number? How would we handle that? So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So I'm going to go ahead and generate that inbound call. And we can see intelli-CTi pops open, sees we've got of course, my desktop phone would be ringing potentially as well. And I can see immediately it's multiple contacts from Abbott Worldwide. And I have a list of potential contacts here at Abbott that it could be. So the first thing, of course, I need to do is find out who's calling me, right? So I'll go ahead and answer the phone here by clicking on the answer button and say, good morning, it's QWare, and the person may identify themselves as Jonathan Hardy. And I can see that Jonathan is down here. And in order to associate the call to Jonathan, I just simply have to click his name here. By doing so, you'll see now the call is now associated to both Jonathan and Abbott. And of course, it opens up Jonathan's record in Dynamics for me. So now I've got, of course, all of his history and all of his pertinent details now at my fingertips, right? Real easy, very efficient. Now, let's say John has been calling me regarding, perhaps he's been kicking the tires on a premium support agreement, okay? So again, I could put some notes in here about he's looking at perhaps a support agreement. Now, if he's called me several other times in the past, I might have an opportunity that I might want to link this call to, an existing opportunity. Or maybe if I don't, I want to create an opportunity. So I can link existing opportunities to phone calls or even create them on the fly. So over here on the side, next to Jonathan's name, I have this caller content area. If I click on this, it slides out a hidden panel, which allows me then in this dropdown to choose cases or opportunities that I want to link this call to. In this case, I want to see, do I have any opportunities associated with the premium support agreement? And you can see here, I do. Now, of course, if I didn't, I could create a new one right here on the fly. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and choose this since I have it, click associate, and now you'll see that this call is not only associated to Jonathan and Abbott, but of course now to the opportunity. So now, of course, I now know how many calls I've gone against the opportunity as I continue to do this over and over again, how much time I spent on the opportunity. All this data is now being recorded and can be reported on. Now, if I want to go into the opportunity, it's as simple as clicking on the title here, and now I've gone from Jonathan's record to the opportunity, okay? Really easy. And obviously, we are going to create a phone call activity not only against Jonathan and Abbott, but of course, against the opportunity as well. All right, so I'll go ahead and end that call. And it's the same thing you saw earlier here with Mike's record, but we've got the call wrap-up screen. All the notes I took are here. I can use call disposition, right? Maybe I've got, I don't know, waiting some info, but you'll notice the only difference here is because it is linked to an opportunity, the call wrap-up shows the opportunity as well. And if I hadn't opened it up earlier, I could even open the opportunity from the wrap-up screen, okay? All right, of course I could create follow-ups and all that just like I did previous, but we won't repeat that again. All right, so that's an inbound call from a number that when more than one person shares it, and we can associate it with an opportunity. What happens though if a call comes in and the number's not recognized because the number's not in the system? And that could be for one of two reasons, right? One, it could be that it's a new lead and they've never called us before, or it could be somebody who is in CRM, but maybe they're calling from a new cell phone or perhaps from home, as we see often. So we just don't have their number, but they are in fact a customer of ours. So let me show you how that might look. So I'm going to generate an inbound call here again, and intelli-CTi will pop out and show that there is no matches found here, right? So we can see The number's not found in the system. So the first thing I would need to do, of course, is find out who in fact I'm actually speaking with, right? So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and answer the call and say, good morning, it's Qware. In this case, maybe the person identifies themselves as Bob Gilmore, okay? So the first thing I want to do is see, is Bob in my system? Now you notice down below here, it shows find caller. If I click on that, I can actually search both contacts, accounts, and leads. By the way, it says inquiry here, but leads in our system. So in this case, I'm going to see, is Bob in my system as either a lead or a contact? So we'll go ahead and say Bob Gilmore, see if he's in here. And it looks like I do have a Bob Gilmore. Now I see I've got a Bob Gilmore from Stark Industries, and if I click on this little arrow, I can get a little bit more information. So I can ask Bob while I'm on the call, hey Bob, are you Bob from Stark Industries, CEO? Yep, that's me, Ryan. Great. So in order to associate the call to him, I just simply click on his name, and now it'll of course open up his record in CRM, and obviously will now associate this call to Bob, to Stark, creating that phone call activity record. And all I have to do is, of course, put some additional notes in here, right? So maybe, you know, he was having an issue of some sort, whatever, right? Whatever notes I want to put in here. But the main thing here is, all I had to do is look for Bob there in that search area and associate the call, okay? So that's what happens when that unknown number is somebody who actually is in CRM. What happens if it's a new lead, for example? That person doesn't exist in CRM. So we'll show you what that looks like here. So again, inbound call comes in, that number is not going to be recognized, so it says no matches found. And in this case, of course, I'll pick up the phone, identify it, and maybe this person tells me that their name is, I don't know, Maya Summers, right? So if I did a search here and found that there's no Maya Summers, okay, and I can do that real fast here. It will come back, of course, and say no matches found. So I actually have the ability to create a contact, an account, or a lead here right from intelli-CTi. And I don't even have to have CRM open, by the way, okay? If, for example, I opened up my computer first thing in the morning, hadn't even launched CRM, and a call came in, I could actually, since we're always talking to CRM, even create the record on the fly right here from intelli-CTi. So I'll go ahead and create this contact here, put in Maya's information. It will capture her phone number. If I want to create an account, I can do that, or I can even associate it to an existing account. I could, by indicating that here, I'll keep it simple. Just create the contact. I just hit the create button down here, and it will now create Maya's record on the fly and open it up, and obviously create the phone call activity as well. Okay, that's how easy it is. And I'll just go ahead and end this call then, and we get the wrap-up screen like you saw before. All right. So that's how easy it is to create a record on the fly when you've got a new lead, for example, calling you, okay? So last bit on inbound calls. Let's say I stepped away from my desk, maybe Mike Wazowski, our original caller, had called me, but I was at the lunch or something. Another great little feature is whenever you've missed a call, okay, and you come back and sit back at your desk, intelli-CTi will give you a little bit of alert here. So let's wait for it to close up this call here. So if I come back, sit at my desk, you'll notice that I have this little one missed call here on the banner. If I click on that, it will actually open up a history of calls that I've made in or out, or in this case, it'll go to the missed calls, and I can see that Mike Wazowski is the person who called me. And reaching out to Mike is simply as just double clicking this, and it'll pick up the phone and dial out for me, okay? So we'll come back to dialing out here more, but that's how easy it is if I do have a missed call to follow up, all right? Now, again, it's all about user efficiency and making the user's life just that much easier, creating a much more efficient workflow with all of your calls. Now let's talk about outbound dialing. So I'm actually going to pin intelli-CTi here just to kind of keep it here, and we'll go through various ways that we can do outbound calls. So let's say I've come in and I want to start from a list of hot prospects I have for the day and just start doing my dialing for dollars, if you like. So I've got a list of people that I need to follow up on here, right? And so I can obviously just begin dialing them. Whenever I see a phone number in CRM, I can simply click and dial. So in this case, I've got Adam Dollins here. I've got a hyperlink here from the list. I can just simply click it. You might get a warning from your web browser to say, is it okay? But otherwise, it'll pick up the phone and begin dialing. Now, the great thing about this is I don't have to worry about dialing a 9 or any other dialing rules. intelli-CTi is pre-configured for all of that. So it just picks up the phone and dials it out. Now, when Adam picks up the phone here, as he just did, it will of course open up CRM, and now I've got all my information at my fingertips here for Adam as well. And obviously, just like inbound calls, I can take notes here, I can place it on hold. Maybe I didn't get him, I got his voicemail, so I can just indicate I left a voicemail. We of course will create a phone call activity against Adam and his account, as we expect, right? And of course, when I hang up the phone, I'll get the wrap-up screen, exactly what you saw with the inbound calls, okay? You put your call disposition here, left a voicemail. I could create a follow-up to call them back on Friday, all that good stuff. All right, so that's dialing from a list view. When you see those links here from a hyperlink, you can just click and dial. Other ways we can dial, if I'm going into this list, right? Now, some of you probably know that Microsoft, when you go into a list of contacts, or what this could be accounts or leads or opportunities, you get this little record set view here, which puts all of that list here in kind of a little sidebar here. But then as you click through each one of these things, it brings up the details here. So you can kind of roll down here and review the details. Now, intelli-CTi has a great little app called the Entity Dialer. So if I click on this little link here on the upper right here, this little man with a phone, it will show all of the people that either I've received or made phone calls to, or records that I've actually navigated through in CRM. And it actually keeps the last 50 records here. So the great thing is I can use this actually as maybe I'm working on something here in CRM, but I need to call Mike back. I can find Mike here in this list, and I can, if he's here, I can simply select him and then call him from here, okay? Just makes it much more efficient. I don't have to go searching in CRM for his phone number. I can do it right from CRM, right? Also, as I'm going through this list here, you'll notice that as I click on each person here, intelli-CTi notices, oh, you're on Alex's record. Or if I click on Bob Gilmore, it now says, oh, I see you're on Bob Gilmore's record. And it displays their phone numbers here. So I can simply choose which is the best option for me, double click or hit dial, and it will pick up the phone and dial out. So again, dialing out of CRM, it's all contextual. I can use this entity dialer to basically dial out at any time. I'll go ahead and hang up on Bob. We don't need to talk to him currently, but it just makes life and outbound dialing simple. One click dialing, away we go. And again, all of that activity is now captured in CRM, okay? All right, one other thing I wanted to show you is we talked about opportunities when inbound, we could associate or create them on the fly. But from an outbound dialing perspective, and this holds true for cases as well, when I'm on a record, in this case, I'm gonna go to an opportunity, if I wanna dial out because maybe I'm reviewing this opportunity, I have a question, and I wanna call, in this case, Dirk Pitt, who's the primary contact on this opportunity, dialing out is simple, okay? All I have to do, go to the entity dialer again here, and you'll notice that it now shows whatever, whoever is the primary person, it shows them here and their phone numbers. So if I wanna call Dirk, ask that question about this opportunity, I can simply just dial in from here. And the great thing here is it not only associates the call to Dirk, but it automatically associates it to the opportunity because it knows I'm calling from the opportunity, okay? So now we'll have that phone call activity against the opportunity and Dirk all automatically. I didn't have to remember to do any of this as a user. Again, making my life that much more efficient, that much easier, okay? All right, so that's outbound dialing from an opportunity. Last but not least, if you were to pick up your phone and dial out, maybe you had a business card, you could just pick up the phone and dial out. Intelli-CTi, of course, if that number is recognized, would go, oh, I know who you're calling, because it would be in the system. Visually, how you can see that here is there's also a little manual dialing app here. So whether you just pick up your phone and dial from that, or use this little manual dialing app, you can just put in the number that you wanted to dial. And if that number is found, it will automatically associate the call and open the record up in CRM. In this case, it was Mike Wazowski who I just manually dialed. And so it knows who that is, of course, and it will do exactly what you saw before, okay? So that's inbound and outbound dialing with intelli-CTi. I do want to talk about some of the data, right? So because we are capturing all of this great data, we might want to use it in reports, dashboards, or even like Power BI. So we do include, for example, dashboards. So we can see here that we have these intelli-CTi operational performance dashboards. So it will track things like inbound calls across my users, in this case, average call duration last 12 months, outbound as well. It's also tracking the top 10 contacts that I may be dialing, as well as like call results, like how many were established versus, missed calls or no answers, right? So all of this data and much more is available to you to add into dashboards. So these are sample dashboards, but you can also bring in things like, number of amount of time on opportunities or cases, or how many calls are being done per case per particular account or contact, right? All these things are now in the system. The data is there available for you. Make this fit like a glove for your needs. Okay. On top of that, we do, in fact, I'm going to jump back over here to the slideshow. Besides the dashboards, and of course you could use SQL reporting as well, but we do include a free Power BI pack for you guys. So we do have some gamification style user reports here where we can look at the user call analysis broken down by user, average call duration, sum of inbound, more importantly, things like, number of cases or opportunities, right, either resolved or won. So we really could kind of make it that gamification, which really shows users getting more engaged, really kind of adopt the system much better if they can kind of get a little something out of it like this. We also have a breakdown on customer inbound call analysis as well as outbound calls, right? So again, this is all free with intelli-CTi and at your disposal. All right, now on top of that, we do support customer service workspace. So if you guys are using that or looking to do that, it works just like you saw. On inbound calls, it will create a new session tab, right? But the click to dial is the same. We're creating phone call activities. All the same features you saw with the standard web will work for the customer service workspace. And of course, obviously for omni-channel for customer service as well, okay? Same thing. All right, a key differentiator over other CTI solutions is intelli-CTi is customizable. So it comes with a free software development kit or SDK that allows for customization of the UI. So intelli-CTi can be extended to include integration to custom entities or streamline the workflow, change some of the things you've seen here we saw on screen. Really, the idea is to meet your business processes, right? So it can be used either by business partners or a customer's own development team, and QWare also provides professional services if you want to customize it. So you have several options there depending on what makes sense for your organization. All right, here's some examples, by the way. So you saw that create screen. Sometimes people want to add additional fields. In this case, they added an email field where we are linking those phone calls to cases or opportunities. Sometimes people want to add custom entities. In this case, we did some custom projects. So this could be contractors or doctors or whatever it makes sense for you guys. If you wanted to associate calls to a custom entity, we can do that. The wrap-up screen is often customized. You can see down below, someone in this case has added some additional call type and priority stuff. We've even seen tabs being added to this. So again, away you go if you want to customize it. So to wrap it up, we've seen some of the key features of intelli-CTi today, and I hope you guys agree that it really does provide increased productivity, simplified, powerful user workflow, right? An improved capture of customer interactions, extraordinary business intelligence, and all that data is now usable through dashboards and BI and SQL, and it's even customizable, right? And most of all, an improved user and customer experience, which is absolutely what we're all trying to get to, right? All right, that wraps up the presentation. You guys can get some more information or even request a free trial from your Microsoft partner or from us directly at QWare. You can also visit our website, just search intelli-CTi, or reach us via Twitter or our LinkedIn accounts at intelli-CTi. And you guys, of course, have my details below here. I want to thank you guys for your time. As mentioned, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them now in the questions pane. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great day and rest of your week.